the founder of Pro AI Global, and she is a force to be reckoned with. I don't think that the idea of possibly not doing something or not being amazing at something ever crosses her mind. And it's definitely an energy that we can all take a few lessons from, for sure. She also does a really good job of making AI make sense and bringing together that network and that community globally that are interested in or are playing a significant part in AI. So yeah, let's check her out.
The best place to start really is the very beginning. So rather than dive straight into the pro AI side of things, I'd like to know kind of how you got there. Where did you begin and what drew you into AI?
Well, as I'm a part of Rotary International as well since 5 years, and I think more than that. And when I came into this industry of artificial intelligence, I met a lot of people who are creating their own AI products. And I am also connected with a lot of communities, CXO community, digital labs community, healthcare communities, and XYZ. Then I realized why there isn't any kind of AI specific community. So if we can create that kind of community with respect to the AI, so we can bridge the gap between everyone, and it should be global because it's not available everywhere. Because there are a lot of CXO communities all around the globe, but not specifically the AI community all around the globe, actually.
That's funny because when you reached out to me about the Pro AI
Yeah,
Global, I
exactly.
realized the same thing. I was like, there isn't something like this, or at least if there is, I hadn't heard of it yet. I've heard of smaller kind of regional groups or country-based groups or university-based groups in many
Oh,
cases, but not an actual global, like professional
yeah,
group.
a professional group. Yeah. We are, just we opened our membership just a month ago, and now we have reached 26 different countries.
Wow, that's pretty
Yeah.
impressive in that space. Well done.
Because actually, this plan came into my mind last year in October. So I started doing podcasts of foreigner AI experts, not in Pakistan, out of the Pakistan. So I did my first podcast, or you can say my first season in last year, November and December. Then
Yeah.
all the ideas, all the dots connected, and then it became like this in front of you. So I was in touch with a lot of foreigner AI experts, especially, and cybersecurity experts as well. So
Yeah.
when we opened the registration, so then I start welcoming everyone.
And now look at where you're at. So from your beginnings then, were you always interested in the tech side of things when you were in school, or was this what you perceived that you'd be doing?
You know what? When I have done my master's in applied statistics, right? So I'm a
Yeah.
statistician. But when I was taking admission in statistics, I had no idea what I'm going to do, you know? So at that time,
That's
I was
fair.
so young, and I just got the admission in that, and after that, I started working with multiple companies. In that case, I was looking for a job, and I was too young, and no one was giving me the job relevant to the statistics. Then someone called me for a construction company, and they called me that we need a manager level, and are you interested? Before that, I was teaching in a school, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was a teacher at that time. So then they called me to be a manager. Then I went there, and within 3 months, they give me the HR, they give me the recruitment, they give me the procurement as well. So I have the construction side experience as.
Wow. Cool. And a bit of everything on that from the sounds of it. I mean, some people might say that that was wrong, and I guess at some level it is, but I always think if you get the opportunity to get a flavor of other parts of the company, that there's never a negative to that, to understanding how other parts of it work. Like you just said, you came in to do one role and did 3 or 4 more. It's all going to benefit you later, do you think?
Yeah, actually, to get the different experience is amazing. I have the experience in health sector as well. And now I am into artificial intelligence, and people ask me, oh my God, because I used to work with Chinese as well. I can speak Chinese language. I can speak a little bit Russian language, a little bit German. So people used to ask me, hey, you work with the Chinese companies. What are you doing here? And then when I talk about AI, and then they said, when did you start it? We never had an idea about it. So that's the main, what I have focused is I always want to learn and learn and learn what's happening in the world, what's new. So that really attracts me. Every new thing attracts me, and I want to be unique. I'm the first Pakistani female AI corporate trainer right now.
Well
There
done.
is no
Well done.
female Pakistani AI corporate trainer right now.
That blows my mind because it's
And
not like a small country with a small number of people. Like that's a pretty big achievement.
yeah, and another part is that I started Pakistan's first AI specific podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can share you the link. And that
Yeah.
podcast, in that podcast, we just talk about the artificial intelligence and relevant integration of AI into different industry, and that is in English language. The main reason of that English language to have an international recognitions and international connectivity. Some of our Pakistani people who already work hard and they made a lot of AI products. So they came into that program and they just discussed, we have done this and that. And eventually one company from US, they called me and they asked me about them and they have given the project to them actually. So that's my achievement. Yeah.
Yeah. Well done. I was just thinking if you're the first person to create an AI podcast in a country, then who do you talk to about it? Because obviously you're at the very forefront of it all. Did you speak to international speakers or local speakers or who did you get on it?
Okay, for when I started on site, so US Consulate wasn't sponsoring the venue, and all there were all the local speakers, all the local people from local, definitely local industry. Someone is a CEO, someone is a CIO, so
Yeah.
people like that, yeah, from supply chain industry, like from different industry. Even I had an interview with the one incubation center head as well. So he
Wow.
gave us the flavor of the students, what the students are doing in AI in Pakistan right now.
I love it. And then when you came up with the idea then for the Pro AI Global think tank, I struggle with saying that.
It's
What's
okay.
your long-term goal with it? Is it solely about networking and connecting people around the world with AI, other people in AI to talk to, or is there more to it than that?
It's more than that. Definitely. Connecting
What do
people
you
is
foresee?
okay. So we have 6 different goals. I try to solve the problem, what the companies are facing right now, what the people are facing right now. So, first of all, to develop this community, I have seen that there are a lot of people out of the Pakistan who are AI experts and who have the idea, who have the experience. And then I found it like there is no such kind of community in Pakistan. Then I started connecting people in Pakistan. And then I found there are a lot of people who are working in AI and have a experience in that too. So first one is to connect the community, to connect the people all around the globe. All around the globe means maybe more than 200 countries.
Yeah, yeah,
And the second part is that in future we are going to produce the trainers whenever you can see that right now if the companies are looking for the trainers who can train their people, they are facing challenges in finding out that kind of trainers, expert trainers, trainers, AI specific trainer for supply chain, specific trainer for marketing, and a specific for the HR department. So we will be going to provide the global AI expert trainers all around the globe. If I have a trainer from US or Ireland, I'll do the MOU signings with them.
yeah,
And whenever any kind of company, maybe from Brazil, maybe from Russia, from anywhere, if they ask us, do you have this kind of expert, then we will provide our services. And same goes to this point is also connected with the third point, which is we are going to have whole AI talent, you know? So
Yeah.
any company will look after the AI engineer, AI consultant, or there is a new term right now, which is Chief Artificial Intelligence Officer. Previously, it was CIO, but now it's Chief Artificial Intelligence Officer. So the world is moving so fast. So that is
It is.
also in on our plate right now. And then we have another goal, which is relevant to if anyone have created any kind of product, they can come to us. We will do the podcast. We will be launching our magazine also, probably in January 2025. And in
Mhm.
that magazine, that will be specific to the AI. We will be recognizing all the top AI leaders in that magazine, top
Yeah.
AI cybersecurity experts in that magazine. So it's for you also, right? So a lot of things are already we have planned a lot of things. So these
Yeah.
are the main major goals. And then we have two more things that we will be collaborating with a lot of big companies like maybe Google or Microsoft or maybe NVIDIA to collaborate with them, and they can provide us the free AI trainings for the students, so the students can get free trainings from our platform. And after that, I think that's enough. Yeah.
Yeah. That's plenty. Like that is absolutely
I think
plenty.
I'm forgetting one, but no, I'm done with that. Yeah.
It's interesting to see it. Like you've thought about scaling it and what's going to happen next too. Like when you began that on the Pakistan side of it, did you come across any challenges when it came to promoting it or pushing it outside of Pakistan onto an international stage?
Yeah, a lot of actually. If I talk about my podcast, when I was starting my podcast and I shared this idea with a lot of my people that I'm going to start the podcast that would be specific to AI and it will be in English, and people were like, seriously, no one will going to listen you because it will be in English. And I was like, guys, try to understand what I'm trying to tell you. I just want to promote my people all around the globe. What you guys can speak English, right? Then why are you hesitating? I don't care if my views are like 50 or 100. If
Hmm.
any of the international brand or any company will give any kind of project to any of my people, that's a big
And
deal
it's
for
always,
me. That really matters to me. So
yeah,
that was the first challenge, and I'm done with my one season. And now people are asking, okay, so when your second season is going to be, we want to be a part of it.
I love
So
it.
yeah, actually challenges are there definitely for everyone. But the point is, it totally depends how you are dealing with that. That really matters. That really
And
matters.
naturally. And when you talk about your people, how big is the operation behind the scenes? Like, is there many people working with you on it?
Well, to be honest, not exactly.
It's
Most
always the way in the beginning, though, isn't it? That it's small and everyone's doing everything.
Yeah, actually, we I have a very limited team, but the core team they all are from a very good companies. One is the CEO, one another one is a CIO. So everyone is contributing voluntarily right now. Everyone.
Yeah.
That's why I did not charge to be a member from anyone right now. Although we have received more than 700 registrations in just 20 days, but
Wow.
we have a certain criteria to take on board to the people because we cannot take everyone on board as well. The reason behind we are looking for the people who are really AI enthusiasts. I
Hmm.
cannot spend or waste my 1 second even to the people who are not uh what I can say, like who are not truly interested in that.
You have to have the
So
same
that's
passion that you have. Like, yeah.
yeah, feeling passion should be there. Should be there.
I like that because I think it's easy to stay motivated when you're surrounded by people that are just as passionate and pushing towards the same goal. Like, when you've got one person in the room that's got negative energy, they just suck the energy out of everybody else in the room. So
Yeah.
it's a very focused approach. You're creating all the right kinds of energy for your mission and your goals in there, which is very smart. I like that
Yeah.
altogether.
So your team should be very positive and the positive energy should be there. If everyone has that kind of passionate and the positive energy, then we can get that success, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to, like, everybody worries about AI in the future and what it means for us. Well, I say everybody. I don't worry in the same way, and many technical people don't worry in the same way because we know better in most cases. But when it comes to people's skills and what they should focus on learning or being able to do in the future, if they're going to be working either alongside AI or using AI, what kind of things do you think people should be focusing on?
That's a very good question. And I'm getting such kind of questions almost in every of my training. So
Yeah,
people are asking how we can dive deep into this. So the main point is that people, uh, all of us can use the mobile, but we all cannot develop that mobile, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
everyone
absolutely.
should integrate artificial intelligence in their own field. Not everyone can become an AI engineer.
Mm-hmm.
So if a person is working in, let's suppose, in a marketing field, so he or she should understand what are the tools. What exactly AI? AI is software, a tool. So anyone can integrate it in their own fields. Even you are recording this podcast, and I can give you one suggestion, and I can tell you one tool name as well, because I used to do the podcast and I'm doing the podcast too. Whenever you are going to upload this on the YouTube, you can pick that YouTube and post it on wizard.ai, Vizard.ai. It
Mm-hmm.
will give you shorts just in some seconds. That will
I
be
love
automatically. Yeah. So you don't need
anything that
to,
makes it easier. Yeah,
yeah, so
anything.
you don't need to spend your a lot of hours and time to create those shorts. So for me, the response of this question is go to ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude and ask that I'm from this field. If I want to integrate AI, what should I do? And that gives you the answer very clear. What tools should you use? And there are a lot of tools and softwares for that.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think even the naysayers or the people that were reluctant to use it before, I think, are beginning to understand that they're already using it. They may not be aware. Just because they're not typing questions into ChatGPT doesn't mean they're not using AI. It's there with your chatbots when you're onto customer support, or it's in so many different tools that you're using when you're on the internet at all. And I think that, at least from people I've been speaking to of late, you can see them kind of go, "Oh God, I was using it." You know, so because a lot of people seem to think, that they can choose not to use it, which, yes, you can, but I think realistically, if you're going to exist in the world that's evolving now, choosing not to use it is going to leave you very far behind everybody else. You might as well choose not to use
Definitely.
electricity. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. Previously, it was happen like back in like 80s when personal computer arrived. At that time, the lower management were losing the jobs.
yeah,
But after the AI, the higher management is going to lose their jobs if they don't know how to use it. Simple as that.
yeah,
A labor
yeah.
cannot lose its job because a labor is cheap,
Hmm.
cheaper than the AI tool, right? But a skillful person is not cheaper. Like the tools are cheaper than the skillful person.
Yeah. And ultimately, at the end of the day, there's usually somebody somewhere that has to sanity check results or press the big red button, as I say. You still have to have that human interaction. And you know, I guess speaking of the human interaction side of things, there's a lot of creative fields that people work in, like marketing and design and content creation and even art. And do you see AI becoming like a collaborator with these people in the future? Or do you think it'll, you know, take over in the sense that you could leave it to do all of your marketing in the future? Or where do you think that can we work together with it in something like that?
Well, initially it can work together. Let me
Hmm.
share you one of my example. The Facebook recently started to create the AI avatars, right?
Yeah.
And anyone can create their AI avatars. I have an application, and in that I have to just choose my face, and it create a lot of my different AI images and videos. One day, it was a Sunday actually, and I was thinking, okay, I'm getting bored. What should I do? And then I open that application and I start creating my AI videos.
Yeah.
And after creating those videos, I compile all that videos. And when I was looking at the video, the final video, I was thinking, what, like in that video, I'll show you that video too. In that video, one of my picture was in the Western dress. One of my video is in the Eastern dress and traditional dressing, and vice versa, right? So
Yeah.
then I realized, okay, I look like a model. What happened if the brands can just take a picture of their product and they can give it to us and we can create the AI generated advertisement. They don't need to hire
Yeah.
any model. They don't need to hire or rent that place and the photographer, a lot of cost. And
Yeah.
then I shared this idea with one of my core team member and he instruct to his team and we did it. Now
Cool.
we have three different brands. It's about like last month. We have three
Yeah.
different brands right now and we are providing them the AI ads right now. So
Yeah.
it totally depends on you how you are using it. So the point is your mind should be you should be think out of the box, number one. Another point is that utilize each and every AI tool at your convenience, but with some out of the box idea as well. So
Yeah.
initially, both the things can go along, but uh, maybe 3 years or after 5 years, we cannot say like the models will not get any job or the AI models will be there. And there are a lot of videos on social media in which you can see the fashion show is AI generated. There is no need of any kind of models. So it may be possible that some kind of human or some kind of role will be replaced. And there are also the robocall system is there. We recently sell one Saudi company 300 robocall system and they replace their 3,000 employees. You know, it's a big
Yeah.
number. It's a big number. So the people, AI will not replace human, right? But the
Yeah.
people having the AI skills can replace you.
It's fair. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Like, yeah, because they're gonna at least understand it the most. And I think what one of the things I really like about it, or the way I would look at it, is that if AI has taken over the more boring things or repetitive things or monotonous things, like that that's keeping humans from being more creative, then we now have an opportunity to be more creative and innovative and spend our time thinking and creating and inventing newer, better, more interesting things or ways of looking at things, and get into the thing that we're very much unique for being able to do, and then let AI do the grunt work, as we'll call it, do a lot of the boring and repetitive stuff. And I think that sounds like fun. Have you ever spent a day where you're like, I have not had time to think, never mind about, I haven't even been able to think about what I want to eat for my lunch, never mind think about anything creative or exciting or new. And to think that there's a possibility that we could be able to do that now, that we'll have time to be
Anything
able to
can
do
be
that now.
happen. We never
Yeah,
know.
exactly. I just find that really interesting and really kind of exciting in that sense then too. Um, You have a whole bunch of the certifications that are happening. So you've gotten the certifications for AI into business, for lawyers, corporate sector. You've got about 15 of them. Is it still 15 at the minute? How do you see it improving those kind of sectors, like the corporate business and the legal sector and such too? It's one I've never thought about. the legal one of it anyway. But how have you thought about that improving things there?
Yeah, we have to think about it. Yeah. The European Union already created their AI laws, right? And
It's slow, but it's happening.
and you already are the cybersecurity expert. You must have the idea that
Mhm.
how the data is so important. So let me share just one clause of that uh, uh, US clause, one of the US clause which they already
Mhm.
made. They banned some applications who were asking about the thumbprints, the eye contact, and the face recognition. And
Mm.
then they said that if the human will give the thumbprint, eye contact, and the face recognition as well, so the applications can extract your data. You are giving permission to them. So that
Yeah.
kind and your data can be, that as a new oil, so anyone can use it.
Yeah.
So if we talk about the legal terms, there should be a lot of legal terms. And let me share you one another example what the legal people, or we can say what the governance are doing with respect to the AI. There is a company in US
Mhm.
named Cognify. They
Mhm.
have created um a what I can say that they have created a model in which the people, or you can say the government, can replace the memory of the prisoner. If the prisoner is for like 10 years, it could be like sentenced to 10 years, something like that. 10 years of
Yeah.
jail, like in a very simple word.
Yeah.
So they need the rehabilitation, and the government have to afford their everything for 10 years to rehab them. Now what they are trying to do is that machine can re-implant and replace the memory. What they are going to do, if the prisoner did the murder, they are going to replace that murder memory from their brain, and they are going to implant the kindness in his memory in 3 minutes. And the cost of 3 minutes is definitely nothing if we compare for the 10 years of rehabilitation stuff, you know?
And do you think something like that is achievable, that it can actually be done? Like,
Maybe not so soon, but later on, I believe it can be, because we have no idea. Previously, when I was a kid, I saw a lot of movies, and then I saw, okay, in Harry Potter, I saw that I can eat one, candy, and I'll be invisible in front of people, or if my
yeah,
car can be drive by themselves. Now Tesla is here. See?
yeah,
So,
just
and anything can happen.
yeah, you're only limited by your imagination. I guess the biggest challenge with something like that is going to be around the ethical challenges, as opposed to,
Yeah.
I do believe we can be creative enough and innovative enough and apply technology to do weird and wonderful things, but what slows it down, it's like even with the EU regulations, like you'll hear me often complaining that it it took 2 years to say that we're going to do something about it, and now we're introducing our first rule. And in 2 years, in the life of AI, so much can change, but
Yeah.
our regulatory body moves so much slower. So that forces us to slow down a lot of the innovative side of AI, because you know that's their job, I guess, is to do that, and we have to make sure that we're thinking carefully about the decisions that we make. I imagine if there was no laws in place and no regulations in place, we'd be a hell of a lot further down the road of AI development, and things like you say, those ones that are probably a little bit need more ethical questioning. We'd definitely be further down that road if there wasn't
There should
somebody.
be a lot of ethical consideration whenever we are doing
Absolutely.
anything. Yeah. That really matters, because you know about the deep fakes. See?
Yeah.
So anyone can use that, and it's on the fingertips now. It's very easy nowadays. I was going through my LinkedIn profile, some of the LinkedIn pages of generative AI, and I saw that the guy was uh like having a video call, and it was the face of Elon Musk. See? Even I created one of my picture, watching a movie with Elon Musk. I can share you
Yeah.
personally. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anything can happen. So the ethical consideration should be there. So if we talk when we talk about the ethical consideration, so that the governance and the law and the rules and regulations connected. So we
Yeah.
have to, yeah. So if the government and the country, every country has their own national policies of AI specific, more specific, then the people will understand that this is not ethical, and I like there should be a ban that you cannot create your image with this and that person. That's not
Yeah.
ethical. And if you want to, then you should ask for the permission.
Yeah. It's that simple. It's still their data. It's just, you know, skin and cells as opposed to binary and letters, that it is still belongs to the individual in more ways than any other data. I guess you're gonna want your permission granted for that kind of thing. Do you think, like with obviously with AI, I think back to when I was younger and we thought about doing things like studying computers. There was no such thing as multiple different disciplines in it. It was just computers. And then within 10 years, there was multidisciplines in all things tech. So it was technology, but different flavors of that. And now there's technology and cybersecurity and AI and GRC and all of these other bodies with different courses and such
Yeah.
below that. But everything is moving so fast now. I love it. I love it when things change all the time and there's something new to learn. I think it's fantastic. But I'm sure that for a lot of people, it can be exhausting, but yet they're going to still need to keep on top of these skills to stay fresh and to stay employed in whatever field that they're choosing. How do you encourage that mindset within what you do for people to always want to keep learning and keep abreast of everything that's new?
Okay. So if let me talk about myself first.
Yeah.
Um, I used to do and I am doing the meditation, and the another part is that I love to learn about new things. Maybe I still listen the old songs, but I know about the new technologies. I
Yeah.
love to have a conversation with the foreigners, and because I used to work with them, so I love to do that. I'm extrovert. I love to do networking, and I'm also an NLP trainer. That is a neuro linguistic programming trainer. So I have a little bit idea as well that how human behave, what are the human psychology says, and how we can cater it. So whenever I went any of my corporate training, or I recently had a training at my first training with a student, because they requested a lot, please, we need some industry people and this and that. And then I went there. I never start my training, or I never filled my training with lots of the data in the presentation. Data in that sense, the written data. I
Yeah.
always show them the videos, right?
Yeah. Know
80%
your
of
audience.
my training always depends on the videos. I always put 80% videos in my sessions. And you know what? The visualization, the visuals attracts you more. And when
Absolutely.
the visual attracts you, anything attracts you, there is a curiosity creates in you that we should learn more and more and more about how this thing happening. The two stories I just shared with you about that Cognify, I mean that company who basically implant a new memory in the prisoner's brain. That video is a 10 minutes video, and that's amazing. That's totally so much interesting. So the
Yeah.
point is, when you create the interest in the atmosphere, then the people will love to hear more and more and more, I believe.
I agree. And sure, like when you say videos, there's the TikTok generation now. I mean, I like a bit of TikTok, I'm not gonna lie. And will happily go from one video to the next to the next to learn something new. I'm
Yeah.
aware it's not all always correct, but
It's
the
not about
idea there,
Gen Z. Yeah, it's not about the Gen Z also, or
mm,
Generation Alpha. if we can see the person like 40 plus or 50 plus and even 60 plus, they all are very much interested to have a look at the reels.
Yeah.
So
You
all
can,
the
I think you can
small,
perceive it more if you're looking at those videos. And I was interested you mentioned the NLP, because one of the, when you were speaking earlier then about the evolution of such of AI, I mean, where do you see a place for the psychology side of things? Because, if we let AI develop, we let people develop AI and then we let it like evolve further beyond that, potentially there can be either a massive gap between the people who don't take it on board or don't want to be a part of it and those who do, or it all moves forward and it moves, the fear I think is that it moves away from humanity as such. So I'm not going to ask you, do you think there's a place for psychology? Because if you've studied something like NLP, you obviously think that there's a place for that. The way the training of the brain in the same way of training of a
yeah.
computer is such in there. But do you think there's a place for that in the education alongside the technical AI learning? I know how I feel about it, but I'm curious about how you would feel about that. Do you think it's something that people that are going to use AI or create AI should be learning alongside that?
Okay, so I have the answer and I have two different examples as well.
Oh, brilliant. I love this.
Yeah, actually, I had a podcast with one neuropsychologist.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think, yeah, neuropsychologist, and from Canada, and that lady created an application which basically integrate the AI with the moods, human behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have created the application in which the same mood people can be a part of that application and they can go there and they can have a chit chat and everything. Let's suppose if both of us are feeling sad, so we can click on the sad and we can go into that world anonymously and we can share whatever we are facing, because what is the worst thing we are scared of? Number one, we don't want to share what's in our head,
Yeah.
right? And second part is that we don't want to share our sadness in our circle because we are social. If I share with A will share with B, and that really impacts my image. So your
Yeah.
image will affect, right? So
Yeah.
that application gives you that essence that you can go into that game and you can play that. You can have a chit chat with the same mood people, and definitely they can understand each other at that time. So yeah, the AI also integrated into the psychology things now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you talk about the education, let's suppose how we can integrate the AI into education. So there are at least, I think in Singapore, in Japan, they already banned the chat GPT, like the AI generated content, right?
Yeah.
Although there are a lot of people who can generate the AI content and make it humanized as well, although that is AI generated. So it totally depends on you. So the point is that uh, I have a different opinion on that. Like the student, if they are trying to copy or ask anything from ChatGPT, so I believe there are the students who are just trying to ask for the help, not for the cheating. And if, let's suppose, if they are doing it just for the cheating or, so at least they are reading that. And after reading that, they are getting more and more information about it. So
Yeah.
if there is a pros and there is a con, so both things are always there. It totally depends on us, how we are perceiving it. That totally depends.
Absolutely. There was a lady I saw, I can't remember her name now, but I saw her at the Dublin Tech Summit, so the GTS Summit, which was during the summer, and she was speaking about AI. She's like a representative for AI regulation, but on the Irish side. But she was talking about like one of the benefits on the education side. She's like, imagine that you've got somebody who's, living in a very remote area, and like if you think about it, and I know in African countries they'll be tribe to tribe, their languages will be different.
Yeah.
And she said that they want to learn something, but to use AI to translate whatever it is that they want to learn into their language suddenly makes education so much more accessible. All they need to have is their laptop or their computer or whichever it is, to do it. And then technically they would be able to translate it all. So like she was talking about, those benefits are that you now suddenly make all levels of education available to everybody everywhere, as long as they have access to an internet somewhere. But everybody potentially can study everything. They're not limited by whether their family earn enough money to send them to college, or whether they live near a college, or whether they need to go to other countries because of, for economic reasons or whichever. Suddenly it levels the playing
And
field.
even there are language translators as well.
Yeah. And they're quite good now. Like, I mean, we speak Irish in Ireland, not all the time, but obviously it's one of the languages that are here. My kids can speak it. I can't. I only learned it for 14 years and I still can't speak it. But my kids go to an Irish speaking school, and the Irish translators, even the Google Translate for the Irish language, was terrible up until about 4 or 5 years ago, and it started to get better now, But it's like anything, if the data that's going into it isn't solid, isn't particularly good, then why would the data coming out of it be good? So it seems that there's a bit of tidying up going up on that side of it, and expansion to other languages, and it's much more accurate than it ever was. And I
Yeah,
pick Irish
actually,
because it's a
previously it
small
was
language.
happening. Yeah, previously it was happening if my video is in English, so there will be a subtitle in Irish language or Canadian language or
Yeah.
Chinese. But now it's in your audio, like your audio will be converted on the spot. So that is generative AI.
I
Yeah,
remember the
that's
first introduction of an app like that, and it was one that on your phone you could turn it on where the person could speak into it and it would translate into your language. I know it still exists. It's probably Google as well. But again, the
Mhm.
first iteration of that, like any first iteration of anything, is usually a bit rough. But now it's actually pretty fluid and pretty good. Like the Otter AIs and the note takers that you use on meetings, like even if they're not in the meeting, you can record it,
Yeah.
via your phone, and it's very good at articulating all of the different accents and catching all of the words, even with the different accents, which
And
is
even these
fascinating.
kind of softwares can also make a meeting minutes on the spot.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
great because I don't know anyone who loves to have to sit down and do all the meeting minutes afterwards.
Yeah.
Anything that makes it simpler.
That's a very terrible thing, I believe. I don't like to make a meeting minutes.
I get too engrossed in speaking to people to remember that I'm supposed to be taking notes. Like I get too engrossed in the conversation. So I'm very, very grateful for I use Otter AI now. I'm very, very grateful for that. So I know we're nearly finished up, but what I want to find out from you really is if you were to look into your little crystal ball into the future and see what you think the AI industry is going to look like in 5 years' time, what do you think it would look like? And is there something that we should be doing to either make it like faster or help along the way?
Well, usually people always ask about how this and that will look like after 5 years. But when we talk about AI, I believe let's talk about after 2 years, after 3 years.
Yeah, because it changes so
Because,
fast. Like, yeah,
yeah, it's already so fast. So for the people who are looking for the suggestions, what should they do? So my suggestion for them to learn more and more and more. Because if
mm,
you will not learn, you will lag behind, and then you will going to blame XYZ. I don't know to who, right? So it
absolutely.
depends. So definitely, if you are not working or if you are not learning, so it's your fault. It's not us, right? So that's the main point. And the second thing is that uh, by learning AI, if there are positive things, then there are also negative side as well. So we have to be aware of that too. It's not mandatory that we should not know about the negative points. I believe that we should know everything. What are the positive sides and what are the negative sides as well? So be prepared for that. I believe everyone should be prepared for that because maybe the future will be scary or maybe it will be helpful as well. So anything can happen. So
Yeah.
whatever anyone is doing, try to, there is a quotation, think before you speak. So
Yeah.
that's the main point, whatever, like what I can say. And the last point I would love to say that never give up. I love this code. I follow it and I am on it, to be honest. So never give up, never give up, never give up. Simple as that. That's my
I love
rule.
it. I love it. I'll be chanting that now when I'm going to sleep tonight. Thank you so much, Ammara. It has been an absolute pleasure to speak to you today.
Thank you for having me. It was lovely to have a conversation with you. Thank you.